Why don't we cool it down a little bit with a beautiful panna cotta? It's a classic Italian dessert, but today we're going to give it a bit of an Asian twist with our strawberry white chocolate matcha panna cotta. Comes together with a few simple ingredients, and Tumi is going to show us how to get the balance right.
How matcha do you like panna cotta?
Not very matcha. No, I love panna cotta, but I don't like it because I've always thought it's difficult to make.
Ah, that's the problem. People think it's complicated to make because of that gelatin situation.
Yeah.
How much gelatin is too much gelatin and too little gelatin? The whole idea is to make sure you need to maintain the wobble.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's too much gelatin, it's too solid.
Don't jiggle. No, it does jiggle.
It does.
That's
it
the whole
has to jiggle,
point. Matcha is something interesting to me because it's become quite a kind of a trendy ingredient to use, but I find it to be quite a different taste. It almost tastes like tea for me. How would you describe the flavor profile?
Let me give you a breakdown. So green tea that you normally consume is basically the green tea leaves that have been dried and then used as a tea. The green tea leaves are then dried and pulverized to give us the matcha powder, which is what we have here.
Okay.
So that's why it still has that tea flavor, and the tea essence isn't when you taste it. You're like, oh, this is tea.
Yeah, and it's quite cool because if you're wanting a dessert that isn't overly powering in terms of that sweetness, but I would imagine then that finding the right balance becomes crucial.
And that's where we come in now. So like we said, any panna cotta does have a base of a setting agent. In this case, we're using gelatin. If you don't have gelatin, you could use agar-agar. That would definitely work as well. So the whole idea is to make sure that you bloom your gelatin first to allow it to mix in with all the other ingredients.
Okay.
Once it's bloomed, this is what we mean. After it's absorbed all that liquid, the water is cold that I've poured into it, so make sure of that the liquid is cold that you're adding in there. So if, let's say, you wanted to infuse more flavor into you can literally go in, I promise you, check, it's not gonna fall. It's actually absorbed everything in there.
Okay, perfect. So I get that. So make sure that you give your gelatin the time to bloom to do its
Correct.
Cool.
And then once it's done that, we're going to start now putting our panna cotta together. And our panna cotta starts with some flavorants here. We've got some sugar, and then we've also got some white chocolate. Like we spoke about those balances of the flavor.
Ooh, I love
Tea and white chocolate actually work together.
Especially, and when you introduce the strawberry, even more so. White chocolate and strawberry, perfect. And I like that because it's not going to be like a bam sweetness.
Correct.
It's going to have a bit of balance, a bit of both.
Exactly.
Lovely.
But then also, like we said, we have the balancing of flavor here. Our white chocolate, whenever you're working with panna cotta as well, you want to make sure that when you're adding your liquid to it, it's not too hot. It's not boiling hot. As you can see, I've got my liquid here on a medium heat. I literally just want to warm it up.
It's a bath.
The sugar. Yeah.
It's a lacquer bath.
It's a lacquer bath. All we're doing is we're melting up our sugar and our white chocolate. Once that's done, we take it off the heat because, in essence, to make sure that we're getting the best out of our gelatin, we're making sure we're getting the best of our flavors here. We need it to be dissolved. You don't want it grainy. And that's why the temperatures also have to be somewhat of the same temperature.
Okay, like for like, okay.
Like for like, in order for it to not have those lumps and so forth. So I'm going to give it a shot and make sure, because obviously I want to show everyone exactly how it's done. Let's just say this liquid over here has cooled down and it's gone to the temperature that we like. In this instance, because we don't have the time to cool it down, I'm going to actually use our CLOVER classic strawberry flavor dairy snack to actually cool it down. Because now this is cooler and that's going to cool everything else down before we add our gelatin powder.
Gastronomic science. I love that. I love it when the mad scientist comes out in you. And it's important to know these things because it's simple principles that you start to live by, and then you can develop an intuition. Okay, am I matching like for like, temperature-wise, flavor-wise, balance, balance, balance. I love it. And of course, we're using a delicious variant of our CLOVER classic dairy snack. It is deliciously smooth and creamy. The texture is beautiful, great just as a snack, but it's also going to add another creamy texture and a flavor profile to this panna cotta. It's also available in an insane array of awesome flavors, but obviously today we're going with the classic, in fact, our strawberry, which, as we said, I think is a perfect complement to the white chocolate as well, and it adds a nice little fruity edge to balance out the matcha.
Correct. You are on point right there. And as you can see, I've added our gelatin in here, and it's dissolved perfectly because it was at the right temperature. The reason I'm adding our matcha at the end as well is because I still want to have that tea flavor. I don't want it to be overly
blended through.
Yes, you still want to have that matcha flavor in there. So I'm just going to work it into this baby over here. And then as you're whisking it together, all those flavors come together. You've got this great, vibrant color. You've got
the color is very
smell
funky.
it before I go too far.
Oh, wow.
Matcha
that's
overload.
And it's amazing. I can still pick up the individual scents there. I can get the white chocolate, I can get the matcha, and I can get the strawberry.
Yeah, and there we go. And now you've got these beautiful specks, almost like a marbling effect. And now if this isn't pretty, then someone is jealous of my cooking. And
exactly. Haters gonna come, girl. Don't worry.
haters gonna hate. And there we have our beautiful matcha.
Prachtig.
And then what's gonna happen is you just need to set this baby in the fridge. Give it about 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And then you can enjoy. But you know, some people like things. People like to try things. Someone will want to drink this as a Slurpee and just be like, as a drink.
I think it could actually be delicious, just as a Slurpee. Now you've got me wanting to drink this as a Slurpee. I love this. The impact is there. I like the fact that you can do quite a few of them, little ones, great showstop at the end of a great meal, and it's also interesting. There's a couple of talking points in there as well. Absolutely beautiful. It's fresh, it's light, it's not overpowering with the sweetness. You're going to absolutely love this one. And of course, the hero of the day, our Clover Classic Dairy, and we've gone with strawberry, which is one of my favorites.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.